Welcome back, and it is time for a camper tour. There's a lot of fun things about this camper that are not how it originally came. Hunter and I have changed a lot. My dad's added a bunch of stuff, and I'm excited to show you some of the really neat things about this camper that we really enjoy and some of the things that we don't enjoy so much. So let's dive in. So on the inside of the door, we keep our daily toiletries. This is Hunter's bag. It has all of our toothbrush, toothpaste, that's mine, and just a couple things hang up here that we use every single day. We hang our wetsuits on this rack here, and they just drip onto the floor. We keep our wetsuit booties down there. That's a 5-gallon water jug that collapses. We keep full to be able to do dishes outside. We keep all of our toiletry stuff for showering in the sink along with baby wipes. In this cabinet up here, we have a lot of miscellaneous things. My contacts, any miscellaneous bathroom stuff goes up there. It all falls into the sink when we drive, and it usually lives there, but I organized it. Our shower towels hang right here around the shower head. We don't actually use this shower, but it's nice to have just in case. We do use the toilet, and it drains into the black tank, and it's really nice to have this very nice accessible bathroom. The second thing you see when you come into the camper is the dinette. This is my side. This is my desk with my computer. We keep a lot of random things on the dinette just because there's not a ton of space to keep other things. So I have some cookbooks and extra things. This is my knitting bag and my work bag. And then Hunter we have a mini jackery for charging some extra things and his photography stuff. Some seltzer waters down here. This is Hunter's hiking bag. This is his side. One addition that I really loved to the dinette is we took out the normal kickboard that goes right here, and my dad built this board that sits a little higher so we can fit shoes underneath, and it has cutouts for Sunny's food and water, so those can stay there while we drive. The water does spill, so we do have to dump it, but besides that, no issues, and it's a nice spot to have some extra shoes. Along with keeping our shoes here, we have this cabinet that's under my side of the dinette, and this is the shoe bin. We always try and organize it, and then within one time of driving, it is completely messed up again. There are a lot of things that we keep above the dinette. So we have these hooks, which is where our keys live. And then this is our thermostat for our propane heater. This is the inverter for the solar. And then we have this nice thing here. Came with the camper. It's a magazine holder, but I have ended up using it for a bunch of things. We keep all of our gloves and liners in here. I keep my watches hanging here and Sunny's leashes. Anything that can hang on a carabiner pretty much hangs right there. In the corner, I have an extra sweatshirt to just throw on, and then Sunny's leashes and harness get tucked in. Above the dinette was built to be a bunk, but we've used it as storage, so we've transformed all of these things. That we keep a lot of extra food up here, Sunny's cat litter, and just a bunch of miscellaneous extras. Moving even further into the camper, we have this closet. This is where we keep all of our hanging stuff, some dresses, coats, that type of thing. We have a bin of rags that lives in the bottom because it's right next to the kitchen. We also have our broom, which comes out and it extends, so we have a full-length broom to sweep the floor with, which was something I was adamant about because I hate using a tiny little broom on my knees. It is actually a car brush extender that I've screwed on to a broom head. So it didn't come like this, but if you get a little crafty, Walmart has everything you need to make camper life easier. Another great addition that we keep in here is this cutting board. This goes in between the sink and the fridge to be able to have some extra counter space when we're cooking, because there's not a lot of counter space in here without it. It's something we use every single day in the winter, and definitely still sometimes in the summer, but we do most of our cooking outside in the summer. Now we move even further into the camper, into the kitchen. Here is some of my favorite additions. So when I originally bought this camper, up here was a microwave. This summer, my dad made this door, so it's made out of a piece of an old dishwasher to be metal, so we can keep all of our fun magnets up here. And then the rest of them came from last season. In this cabinet is where we keep all of our dry food. We have some spots for some extra stuff, some drawers to keep spices, and then some extra bins. It has a latch, so when we close it to drive, we put that there. This cabinet is all Sunny food. And then moving down, we have the oven. So when I originally moved into this camper, this stovetop was just a stovetop, and this was a drawer for the food. I replaced it with an oven this summer. So in here, we have a child lock to keep it closed while we drive, and then we keep our pans and some baking stuff in there. Our sink is a 2-bay. I actually hate this sink. This side is very tiny, and then this side, the faucet doesn't reach to. This faucet was broken when I originally bought it, and my dad replaced it with one that used to be in our dining room. We keep our produce basket right here, and all of the stuff that's on the counter goes into the sinks when we drive, so it doesn't fly all over the place. The last addition to the kitchen, and probably my favorite one, is this fold-up step stool right here. So I just pull this tab, and there we go. I have a step stool. So now I can be nice and tall, and I can reach Sunny's food without having to stand on the dinette and balance up to reach there. Our fridge is an Orcold fridge that came with the camper. It's been really great so far, but it keeps a bunch of stuff, and it has a decent size freezer. This fridge runs off of propane, which is wonderful for our electric system, which I'll get into more later on in the video. So far, we've had some issues with the fridge, but everything has been resolvable, and it just takes a little bit of YouTubing. So I'm sure at some point it's going to overheat again, and we'll have to hard reset it, and we can teach you how to do that when that happens. Now we'll hop up on the bed where some of my favorite additions to this camper and changes have happened. It's a cute little area where Hunter and I get to hang out and have our TV time every night. So let's jump into it. To start, when I purchased this camper, the head of the bed was right there in that alcove where all of the hats are hanging. We learned that we could turn it, and it would only cut off this little section of cabinet from the bed. And we would have all of this additional space up there. So when you come up here, you can see that there's so much storage. There's a whole cabinet here. All of this chest area where we keep all of our clothes, that's our dirty clothes bin, which is very full right now. And then there's this cabinet, a whole chest here. And also this cabinet here. We've managed to fit all of our clothes, and the hooks for the backpacks really help us out with some additional space saving down on the dinette. Our hat hooks are one of our favorite additions, and it just looks so cute, even though it took very little work. I think that's all I gotta say. Our bed is our favorite place in the camper to hang out, and we are so happy that we made these changes. There's a lot of additional space that makes it so much more livable for 2 people. We did take the TV out, which was right over here, because we watch TV on the computer anyway, so it didn't make much of a difference. So now that we're already up here on the bed, let's hop up on the roof and I'll show you what we got up there. Ooh, okay, welcome to the roof. There's been a lot of work that's gone into making this roof what it is today, and I'm excited to show you guys. So to start, we have 4 100-watt solar panels. These all run into the charge controller and into the battery. We have 2 max air fans. These do such a good job of regulating the temperature. It has never been more than 5 degrees hotter in the camper than it has outside, which is so helpful, especially with having Sunny. It gives us so much peace of mind to leave him in here. Next, we have the roof bars. So here, we're able to keep 2 surfboards stacked. We think we could get up to 4. In the roof box, we keep all of our snowboard stuff. So it has our boards, our snow pants, our boots, everything. I'm not going to open it because it's a game of Tetris to get it all back in, but there's 2 backpacks full of all of our gear, and then our boots, our bindings, and I think currently like 5 snowboards in there. So now that I've shown you the roof, let's go from up here to down here. So, well, there's a lot of storage inside of the camper. There's also a lot of storage outside of the camper and a lot of other things on the outside that are worth talking about. So let's start with the back seat. We keep the back seat of the truck packed full. So on this side, we have 2 bins. We have one that keeps our backpacks and extra bags. And this is truck parts and other random tools. In front of it, we keep our Blackstone grill that we use outside, our chair, and then we keep books underneath this platform that my dad built, so we have some extra space. There's Hunter's fishing stuff there. We keep our fishing poles tucked in the seat. This is a bag of stuff that needs to get mailed home to New York. We have a bunch of helmets in here, and then we'll flip to the other side. This side of the back seat is set up pretty much the same, but I'm just gonna give you a look-see to see what we're working with. So here we have the same 2 totes of different gear, camping gear, and our sleeping bags and blankets. We also have our step stool and our outdoor table. We have an outdoor sink, another outdoor table, and all of those things get used for outdoor things. We have more books on this side and 3 skateboards stashed back here. Sunny's bed that he lays in while we drive. So as you can see, the back seat's basically our moving storage unit, but it's been so nice to have a full back seat and be able to keep so many things back there. I don't know how we would do camper life without it. I know people in vans have a garage, which is similar, but the back seat has seemed to work so well for us, and it helps us stay so organized. On the front, we have my bike, and we have a front hitch receiver that my dad added. Then a bike rack, and we keep the bike here. So far, with just one bike, we haven't had to add a dropper to the hitch, but we are aware that when we add Hunter's bike, we may need to add a dropper because the back tire may block some visibility. On the outside of this side of the camper, we have our freshwater fill, our hot water heater, which we never use. It's a propane hot water heater, and you have to come outside to turn it on, so it never gets used. This is where our electric plugging comes out of, where the oven vents out. On the truck, on each side, we have 2 5,000-pound airbags that we've added. We have torque lift frame mounts and fast gun turnbuckles. These have been the best thing I could have asked for. Here is where our diesel heater vents outside. This was an addition, and it's worked very well that it vents out to here. These are our cabinets. So in this one is the battery. This one's locked. We have a 100 amp hour lithium phosphate battery. In this one is our fill for our diesel tank. And then in this cabinet is the poles for our gray tank. This is insulation for the diesel tank. So we have poles for the black tank and the gray tank, and an outdoor shower, which we obviously don't use very much based off of the state of it. Along with adding the airbags to the back, we also added a sway bar. So from under the truck, you can see that there is this sway bar that's been added. The airbags are currently deflated due to a lack of fuse for the air compressor, but that's definitely helps the truck's maneuvering a lot, and those are great additions. Along the back side, we have the ladder that flips down to get onto the roof. I use that a lot in the winter, but in the summer, I just climb through the sunroof on the bed. We have these hangers that flip out so we can dry our clothes on them. Those have come in handy a lot with our wetsuits. We've used them quite a bit. We also have this one cabinet in the back where we keep a bunch of extra tools. An oil pan for changing the oil. We keep a hose, our hose for our fresh water, and a bunch of miscellaneous things in here. Another addition to our camper is this scratch post for Sunny. He tore up this window covering when I was living in it last year, so we made him a scratch post, and he does use it, obviously. We love our cozy little camper so much, and there have been so many additions that make it so much more livable and perfect for us. There's so many things that I would do differently if I built it myself, but you don't get everything you want, so we just move with it and change things as we go. If you have any questions about the builds of our camper or want to know how we did anything, let me know in the comments, and like and subscribe for more. Catch you next time. Bye!